Hello everyone, welcome to season 2 of What If Deku Had a Day by Day like Quirk. Last off, we left off on a floating city, you would say. From my best memory, we left off on the not frozen, but floating city. With the entity kind of claiming an entire mini-state or something. Or like a city or something. Multiple of them, actually. Yeah, practically have its own mini-state, practically. So, yeah. As through time, the state has, landed on the ground. Somewhat. Of course, though, the portions of the whole is still there. So all the souls that are, yeah. Technically, then there's technically portions of them in the ground, but at the same time not. So anyways, yeah, they're floating. Deku, he's waiting. He's been waiting far too long. He's had entertainment by now. And he's tired of waiting any longer. Deku has his own ability. Unlike the godlike thing he controls in his custody for now, he has his own ability. It's more of a it's confusing. Similar to the giant spider god, the entity, Deku's abilities similar to that. It is huge, just kind of like a different sort of entity, but more of a lines of kind of a second Quirk almost. It's a plant-like Quirk. A very, very big one. Yeah. It's so big that it has to use the portals to kind of have used the Quirk itself. Like the entity having to go through portals just to grab a survivor. So yes. Deku's been waiting long enough. So he decided to visit his old city. He does so. As he's walking. Just walking with who would he be walking with? Because he has a lot of people on this side. I'll say if Springtrap's there, I'll say Springtrap will probably have his own thing, so I'll say he's walking with the K-pop killer. Why not? Man gotta chill with music, so yeah, he's with that dude. Just walking through the city. And I believe I don't have many events that are actually happened yet in the story at all. Deku's 15 right now, so meaning the 10 months should be around the corner, so yes. The 10 months are slowly breathing in. Deku is watching everything unfold. And everything. He's seeing the villains, the heroes, vigilantes. He's seeing everyone. It's just weird how nothing really happened. No one really looked for Deku, which was kind of funny in his part. No one really looked for him, which, yes, irritated him a bit. A lot, actually. But that was the reason why he created his own practical state. There are many things you can do. Many. It's the way you choose to use your powers that define who you are. Deku has used him to kind of build his own world, so to say. One that actually accepts him for who he is. One that doesn't just decline him off the bat. So yes. Deku he's watching right now. He's just walking through the city, looking, just exactly looking at everything, realistically. Seeing everything that's going on, he did, get a notification that, UA is having an entrance exam. He wants to know what this entrance exam holds for him. And so, he waits. JK, this man ain't waiting anymore. So, the entrance exam is about 2 days away. Deku looks for places that can be useful to add to his collection. Sadly, he doesn't find many, though. He only finds like 2 or 3 places to add to his large collection of variety. You can go now. You can be free. Just come back in the next 10 hours, K-pop. I'll be back to get you. Just do whatever. Oh, wait. I'll walk around to find out what information we can get on new alliances, you would say. Of course, you're doing this out of your own free will. Don't know what the other ones are doing with you, but I heard the entity's doing some sketchy things back home. That's why I didn't want to talk back there. And for you, you can be my information. I tell you things, you tell the rest of the group things. Of course, the entity can't really do much. Especially since it's not in its domain. Kind of trapped itself there. So, yes. From what I can tell, I'm losing control of the entity. Not due to me being weak, but due to the entity growing in power, and I am not. It's been a while since I haven't grown in power, or grown in power in general. So, I figured my power was stopped growing a while back, when the entity started making that hole in the ground where, all the condemned souls kind of forever have pain inside of them. Just feeding the entity, not me, which kind of got me on the boards at first, but then realized if the entity is trying to decline my authority, then I must do the same. Of course, my authority is going to be a lot more stronger. Not due to my power in general, but the power of, how would you say, killers, you would say. Yes, the entity may rule the realm, but it does not control the killers. At least not for long. I'll be out here. You get the information, bring it back. And when you come back, make sure you bring... who should you bring? Bring William with you. Not just that, but bring the Legion. All of them. Bring the humanoid killers here. Well, some of them, not all of them. Some Legion, William. Ones that aren't scary looking, so. Legion, William, and I'll say Ghostface, Micah Myers. And that's about all. That's the only real group I actually need. So I have a decent amount of people with me. Yes, I try to have Pyramid by my side, but Pyramid Head has his own ideals. Knowing that neither I nor the entity, you'd say, summoned him, meaning that he came here on his own fruition. Meaning that I do not control him, nor neither does the entity. Meaning that there's going to be a revolution sooner enough with all the killers and the entity. Or there's going to be a fall with the entity. A big one. Deku walks through the streets with a sinister smile. I guess, not really sinister, but just a normal smile. You wanted to trap my mind inside of itself, entity. As a young baby, you tried to kill me since I was very young to try to take over my body. And now you will no longer be a part of me. I'm taking you down, entity, either if you like it or not. Of course, though, I don't have to do a flippin' thing. Pyramid Head is probably my biggest, ace, honestly. All I have to do to Pyramid Head, just give him a little freedom from the entity games. And same with Michael. Michael and the entity are somewhat of the strongest. Oh, there. So, what will happen next? As the day passes, or the day's about to end, what I'm about to bring to the entity and to the world, they will feel the same pain I felt as a child. Loneliness, no hope, nothing will be left of anything. I'm tired of being looked down upon. Pathetic mortals. Thinking they have power over me. Oh, are they surely mistaken? Them letting me out of their city is the worst thing they ever did. And now I'm about to just return the favor by taking control of the city. Or even worse, all of Japan. I don't need the whole world, just Japan. The world will be a little bit too tiring. There are entities as strong as I am, though, in the world. I'm not the only strong entity. Same with the entity itself, me and a couple others that I know of that are as strong or can be even stronger than I am. But are not named for some reason. I do know of their existence, but with their whereabouts, their location, I do not. Which terrifies me. But as my power grows, same with my abilities. As the day ends, and the Legion, Michael Myers, Ghostface, and practically all humanoid killers, or human killers in general, that don't look like flippin' monsters practically. Oh, you're all here. Hello, William. Hello, everyone. Glad you can make it. I'm guessing K-pop told you the information. Pyramid Head probably already knows, honestly. When Pyramid Head first arrived, I thought he was gonna come for me, but in fact, he's coming for something way stronger. Of course, knowing you all of you, a lot of you don't have a chance to defeat the entity. But Michael, though, he is somewhat paranormal in his own right. Pure evil. If anything, Michael here is one of our aces as well. Same with a couple of the witch-like killers, you would say. I'll say about the hag, maybe the nurse, using some magic. And what was the other one that I met earlier? What was his name? That bug-like creature I met earlier. That's orange-like substance. Can't remember. I'll tell you all later when I do remember. But for now, from what I can tell, that killer, the entity has to destroy the flowers on a daily basis, or every week or so. Meaning that if I somehow let the flowers bloom, and even go farther than they already are, out of the entity's area, I can probably grow the killer's power. Use him to free himself, of course. Of course, after this is all said and done, none of you will be under any type of control. And knowing that I'm the only way to actually uncontrol you, you would say. You all will keep me alive. Until, of course, we go our separate ways. Which by then would probably lead to a havoc, you would say. You would all be sent back to your dimensions. A lot. So by the time I leave myself, you all will be freed. Who knows? Once this dimension closes, the story, another one will open. And from what I can tell, the dimension that's being created right now is very weird. It has me as a Quirk individual, not as bad of a backstory, but at the same time, a little bit flirty, too flirty for my taste. So while you are all gone, I'll be watching my own stories from other dimensions, other versions of me. And like a spectator almost. This new me is weird. Similar abilities, to a very low degree. Not as many abilities, but more of a somewhat shapeshifter almost. From what I can tell. Very pink ability, you would say. They use their ability like almost like a meatball. Not meatball, but a meat room. It's very unique. I don't understand the full capabilities of his abilities yet, but from what I can tell, it's very peaceful in there. A little bit too peaceful for my liking. But that dimension has no ill will towards me due to their not even being included in anything. All the dimensions outside of my own will not be touched. If the entity touches them, then it would lead to war. And not just mine, but everything. Now, we have 1 day left. One more day until the entrance exam. Of course, I will pass through time. But you all will be freed in due time, don't worry. I don't plan on keeping you all forever. If you do stay, it will be out of loyalty, not control or manipulation. Even so, I do see other dimensions while I'm either one of you all or something different. I have seen a dimension where I am a Legion, you would say. I've seen one where I am Michael Myers. I've seen many. But those are all not yet created. Those are in the future. They will be created soon enough, but not now. As my power grows closer to omnipotent, my knowledge will grow infinitely. As for what there will be in the future, will be my death, and I would have a peaceful one. But there is no peaceful death, nor peaceful retreatment in your dimensions. If we leave the entity alive, the entity will pull. If you leave, the entity will either pull you back, or pull new killers, or new survivors to corrupt, to turn into killers. We don't need that. Half of you are already corrupted. Half of you are actually created by the entity. Or more lines, corrupting your backstory to the point where you become killers. Freddy already knows this. That's why he's staying put. He's more of an inside spy for the entity. He can go in the dream world where the entity cannot rely. And the hag has a, how would you say, portal ability, where she can enter a dimension unseen by the entity. When she teleports, she doesn't just teleport immediately, but she teleports to a dimension first, and then teleports to her wanting location. Blipping almost. If we can have that, we can be very, very useful. Of course, though, there will be killers that will try to defy us, such as the one that praises the entity, and a couple other ones. But it's actually not that many, honestly. Michael wanted to be here, but he can, just not in control. He wants to be here, but not under the control of the entity, which I will help him with. He wants to be freed from this infinite loop. He himself wants to have more freedom, which I will give to him. Same with all of you. Your freedom will come in the future, and my death will be inevitable. Of course, I can never truly die, since my sentience will just cross over to other worlds and kind of view them, spectate them. Like a, not god, but a spectator to all dimensions, or at least some of them, most of them. From what I can tell, I can be one place at one time with my mind. I may visit Legion, Deku, they call him, sooner or later, but for now, if we can gather enough army, or enough different versions of each other, we may as well be able to stop the entity. Meaning that I may grab some versions of myself and help you. Of course, I can't go anything out of the Dead by Daylight multiverse, but from what I can tell, my power only relies in there. That is the most power I can gain. Of course, the versions of me that are very deadly, like me as a lot of you. Me as a clown, me as a, what was it, a wizard or something. Me as a Legion, me as Michael, me as Pyramid Head, me as Freddy, and then there's a lot of versions of me. That's all you all have to know. Now, may the games begin. I myself will be entering the battlefield. The entity will not be able to track me. At least for a couple seconds. It knows my location exactly. But cannot read my mind. Yes, we are connected, but it is a portion of my mind that must go. And for I am the entity, but it's just a portion of my brain. But we all know that a portion of one's brain cannot survive without the other. Meaning that the only way we can stop the entity is by killing me in the process of killing the entity at the same time. Exactly. However, that power must go somewhere. And due to me being a vessel of some sort, if it dies, it can control me using its complete power and it not having more of a spiritual being than an actual body. Which, if it controls me, we're all doomed. As Deku walks, as the others fall behind, and watch from a distance, entering the entrance exam. 10 months will be in the future, after a certain event, you would say. This will be very useful. I wonder if I'm able to grab other people from here, from you, and turn them to my side. Would I? No, that's already been done. I can't copy another dimension's being. That's already been done by Legion Deku. I can't copy one's dimension, or it'll make a corruption in the timeline. Or just, in general, corruption, some sort of loophole. I can't allow that, so I can't turn them into legions exactly, but I can at least turn them into my own versions of followers, you would say. As Deku, while thinking, Deku does somewhat trip, but it's more of a, he was about to catch himself using his foot, but, someone touched his back before he can even trip, or technically catch himself, which would end up being Uraraka, meeting Uraraka. Deku sees some promise in the lad. Able to touch someone and make them float would be very useful, but at the same time useless towards the entity. Depending on the attackings of the entity. The entity has abilities, yes, but it is able to get hurt by quirks, since quirks are not part of the entity's control. Meaning that if I can find enough people with decent quirks, I can probably kill the entity. She may be useful in my own right, she can get rid of the killers that are going against us. There's about 3 or 2, from what I can remember. But for now, let us gain power. Deku greets Uraraka, and Uraraka greets Deku. Yeah, sorry I didn't see you there. It's fine. No need to apologize. You caught me anyways. Thank you. I'm very grateful for that. What's your name? You would say. Oh, my name's Uraraka. What's yours? Mine is Izuku Midoriya. That's all. Would he give her his real name, or would... No, because let's say he'd be on, he'd be, on a missing post, so I'll say he'd be... random name inserted. Call me Deku. I don't have a last name nor a middle one. My family wasn't very creative when it came to names. Ah, that's a nice name. Thank you. Now let's continue on with the intake exam. Sorry, I was stalling. It's fine. As they both walk into the intake exam together, talking. As Ida would come do somewhat of what he did last time, but instead differences. He feels, he does not do some things. He doesn't do some things that happens in the kind of timeline because of Deku's aura. He would give off this vibe. Not an aura like my usual videos, but a just vibe. Like, he don't give that good vibe. He gives that leave me alone or you'll get a regret it vibe. So yeah. I also did name some of my future what ifs that I am doing. But anyways, besides that, let's continue on. As through the talkament of Ida, whatever his flippin' last name is, Ida Tensei or something. Ida, through the talking of Ida and the talking of Uraraka, same with Deku himself. Deku would walk. So this is interesting. Quite big, if you ask so myself. A replica of a city, almost. Interesting. Wonder how the others are doing back home. Probably ripping each other's throats out, who knows? No. Now, let's see what can happen. You. He looks away from Bakugo. I'll avoid him. He's one of the ones that gained my misery to peak anger. Of course, in this timeline, he's never met me. So who knows, he might have, but from my memory, he hasn't met me until I was 5, I believe. After 5, I kind of transferred schools. After that, everything kind of happened. So he might have. We still had a child in this timeline, or this dimension, but for now, I don't want to anger him in any type of way to avoid conflicts. To stop myself from being angered by his stupidity and his ego self. His ego. Now, from what I can do with my abilities, or with my second quirk, I can control plants to a certain extent. Not plants, but tendril. No, not tendril. Wires. Some sort of. A shadowy wire, you would say. Shadowy darkness. I can control darkness. Must to say. Because I'm pretty sure if I said, well, if it was plants, that would lead on to being flowy Deku, which is already taken. And if I did that, I would, there would be no future for Flower Deku if I take his ability. So I'll name it Shadow Tendrils. Yes, Shadow Tendrils. Similar name to the tendrils on one of the Dimensions quirks, but it can be used. As Deku has tendrils come out of his shadow, I guess? Shadow tendrils, technically, so I mean, yeah. As he attacks I'll say, the entire, entry exam already begun, so yeah. He got on, the writing portion. He got decent some other portions, but anyways, we go to the fighting portion now. Deku, he doesn't want to have an alarm go off. So he tries to do minimum effort, you would say. And so I'm pretty sure minimal effort for him is like destroying the city, but anyways. Besides, I mean like very little effort. Yeah, that'd be a lot more better. So he gets like, I'll say 100 maybe. 125 to a decent amount of numbers. No, 100 be too far, too high, too low. No, because I believe All Might was like 200 or 300. All Might's record. So I'll say Deku has, he gets like half of All Might's record. Entering in, UA. Or 1A, you would say. Interesting. Very useful. I can see why in other dimensions I can use these people as my own. But for now, this dimension is not made for gathering. It's more of a information about quirks to use. I can't use any of these students since these students are already used in another dimension, creating a paradox, time paradox. So I must use things that have been used. As Deku, he looks for people to kind of use in his, war against the entity. As someone enters. Hello, I'm your substitute teacher. As you know, guess who it is? And now this is where I end this video. Hopefully you all liked episode 1, season 2 of What If Deku Had a Dead by Daylight Quirk. Who was the new teacher? Or, more of the lines, substitute teacher technically. Aizawa right now is sick. And someone took his place. Who knows? Who might be the teacher? Who knows? Will it be a hero? Will it be a villain? Who knows? And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.